Okay, I'll give it a minute to get people here. All right. My pattern, what people want waiting. All right. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start. I realize I'm late, and if when you join in, or if you watch this when it's not live, we're going to go ahead and get started because I only have until 3:30 to sew today. So what happened was at the end of the last video, we got to the little loops on the pattern. Let me get that real quick so I can show you. We stopped with these little loops here. I had messed up and did the loops incorrectly. Thank you, whoever has just joined. I appreciate it. If you can give me a quick hello, and let me know who you are. I'd appreciate it. But I was just getting ready to say when we ended, we messed up on the loop, or I messed up on the loops, I should say. We didn't. So I redid the loops, and I actually went ahead and did them in the oceanic faux reel instead of the shimmer that was really, really thick. I think maybe this will actually be better because I have to rivet these to the panel, and there's going to be so many layers that although I got longer rivets for this project, I'm afraid they might still be a little, they might not be long enough to support the strap. So real quick overview. Welcome everyone who's joining. Hi Tanya. I appreciate it. As long as you need. I'm only going to stream until 3:30. I have to get off at 3:30 to get ready to go back to church. So, because my church is 40 minutes away, and I rushed. Let's just say, thank goodness there wasn't. Hi Sharon. There wasn't police out on 275 today. What shoes am I wearing? Okay. That's not part of this, so I'm not sure who you are. I love cats. I don't know that my shoes matter. Hi Jacqueline. I appreciate it. So what we did, I'm going to do this real fast. What we did on the first video is we got the front panel almost complete. I'd say so. I don't have anybody, Sharon, to monitor my chat. And I hope, all I can do, unfortunately, is, unless it's really, really bad, I'm just going to tell you this. They ask you what words that you don't want to show up on your thing. So you got to type in the words so it doesn't show up in your live. I didn't want to I'm terrible. I didn't even want to type the words to say I don't want these words showing up on my thing. I don't know. But anyway, so we did the front panel. We got the top accent piece cut away, and then you cut away on the back to reduce bulk. We got our bottom accents. Now in her pattern, I didn't see where she said to cut away bulk, but I went ahead and trimmed that away last night just to clean that up to eliminate the bulk, because you get two pieces, and then when you start putting gussets on, that gets to be a bit much. So I did cut away bulk. As you can see, I also cut my thing, but I fused it back on. It'll be all right. We got all that done on the front panel. Back panel, we got the back slip pocket done, and then completed the rest just like the front as far as the top and the side accent pieces. So what we're working on is the strap, this part here. And right here in the center, this is the part we're working on right now. So I am on page, let me tell you, because just a quick reminder, whoa, scrolled too fast. And my laptop's upstairs, and I'm like, I'll just grab, not my laptop, but my tablet's upstairs, so I'm on my laptop. And it's not as smooth for some reason. Okay, So I'm on page 32, and again, I am doing option B with the magnetic snap as my closure on the front of the bag versus, because she's got 3 options to do. Okay, so we need to put the snap flap panel part 1. We need to put this, okay, we already put this is terrible. I already put the snap on. So we got the snap on, and then where we stopped at was these little guys here. So I'm going to page forward because we did that. For some reason, I didn't think I did the snap. I didn't look at my piece. I'm sorry. Okay. So for option B, we're going to place our little loops here, and then she gives you placement on all your options for your pieces. And let me look, she's got rivet placement for option B, and option B, if you see, her option B has 2 placements for the rivets. We will put both loops on. We'll have a loop up here and a loop down here. So what I'm gonna do, I actually brought my hole punch and my rivet press over, and I stuck it on my little cutting table so we can do this. Typically what I do, so I can place my rivets in the right spot, I will punch a hole in my templates or my little patterns here, and I just use that as place so I can place the holes. Okay, so let me do that real fast. Glad you guys came and joined me this afternoon. Like I said, I'm going to sew until 3:30-ish. I just got to get time to change back. Okay. I come home, change, sew, change, and go back. That's my Sundays. It's fun. I don't care because it's for the Lord. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't know how everybody else feels, but anyways. So there's my rivet placements there, and rivet placements there for B. This is only in the center, is only for part A. So do not do that unless you're using part A. So I'm gonna take on the top part of my panel above the snap is where you're going to place your rivets, because this part here, hold on a second. Let me look at the piece real fast. Let me make sure I do it right. I think I need to do it according to the mark. Okay. So I got my snap placement. You know what I need to do. Let me make sure I do this right. So snap placement goes there. Yes, that is correct. Because the snap, yes, so you're going to put it above the snap, okay, because this is going to get folded up like this. So you won't see the snap because this is the part that goes into the purse. I started to confuse myself. I need to take a quick second and breathe is what I need to do. But this is going to fold up to a line that's already made. You're going to fold it up to that top line that we made from the pattern piece, and then this is what's going to go against your bag as your closure. So you're going to put your little loops here. So I'm going to place my marks and make sure I center this piece here with this, because naturally, since you've already folded up your edges, you can do this, of course, prior to folding in your edges, but I'm just lining them up straight, making sure my piece stays straight. I can find my snap. There we go. I know if I find the center of my snap, I know I'm good. All right, I'm going to hold it down. I'm using an ink pen because it's going to be a hole punch, and I'm not like doing like a big huge circle. I'm just doing more like a dot. There we go. So see, there's my little dots for the placement of my rivets. I'm going to get my hole punch, and you're going to punch the holes through this. Now this is where, if you are only doing half interfacing on part B, because remember, part B, you could do the whole piece, and I opted just to do half of it. This is the side I would recommend you put your interfacing. If you're going to do half of it, I would recommend it to be at the top where you're going to punch holes at. Because this one, basically, we just did a little piece. Remember, we just did a little piece of a little pell-on scrap and did that for the snap. So when you unsnap it, you'll have that support there. but this is, you're going to be putting rivets through that. So in that way, you've already got your interfacing there. Okay, so you're going to place your holes there. Give me a second. I'm going to page real quick. So you're also going to place holes in your, and these little guys, whoa, I got clippies on them. These little guys here, you're going to put holes in them. And let me see what she's got. Punch holes for rivets. Installation. I don't see, let me, if you give me just a quick second, let me read. Whoa, scroll too fast here. Let me just read real fast and see if she tells you exactly where to place the rivets, rivet holes on the little tiny strap pieces. I can guess what they were, but let me see if she gives a measurement. I actually don't see a measurement. Let me get that pattern piece. No. Okay. So there is no, she doesn't give placement on this rivet, and it's not on the pattern piece. So I'm going to go in where I feel comfortable in this. I mean, quite honestly, I probably 3/8 to 1/2 of an inch would be my guess. 3/8 looks like it would be a good point because it won't be too close to the end where it'll rip. I don't know, maybe she's doing 1/2 of an inch. I'm trying to look at the picture. I'm going 3/8. I feel comfortable with 3/8. I think, let me do a mark. I'm doing it on the wrong side. So if I put rivets at 3/8, that's too close. No, 3/8 is, so we're going to go 1/4 inch in because 3/8, this will overlap. And in the picture, she has these, when you close this, when you put this on with the rivets, in the picture, she has these ends touching like that. So I'm going to go 1/4 of an inch in. I'm going to make my mark again on the wrong side. I know I've got the wrong side marked on the other one, but nobody's going to see it because it's on the wrong side. So 1/4 inch, I'm going to punch the hole, of course, make sure it's in the center. All right. I'll show you here in 2 seconds. Okay. So see how I've got the little holes punched right there? That's what you got to do. Again, I don't see it in the pattern, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you this is what I'm doing at 1/4 of an inch in on each little short end there. So let me go ahead and punch the second one. Okay. I really, I would love, is I guess the word I'm looking for, I would love to have this put together. The gusset, it's not like the gusset's going to take a long time, but the gusset's in 3 pieces. So, rivets. Please tell me I don't have my rivets. Do I have my rivets with me? I brought my press and everything, and I forgot my rivets. So give me 2 seconds. Let me go grab them. I just got to grab the little drawer out of my thing. Oh, I'm walking. Oh, okay. Rivets. There we go. Again, I got a little bit longer. I got this 9 by 12. These actually, if I used, you know what, if I used the other vinyl, if I would have used the glimmer vinyl, the blue, it would have, I think that these rivets would have worked, but I just didn't want to take that chance. Okay, so I'm going to need 4 rivets to attach this. So let's get that. Boom. Oh, I just dropped one on the floor. I got to sweep anyways. I was moving furniture around again last night. I am still so much trying to get this room organized. I've got so much fabric. It looks about behind me. I have got, I mean, that's a lot of the vinyl that I have. I think that's all of, like, those 4 cubies, that's all on the vinyl. I think I have some tall rolls of vinyl in a, like a garbage can I keep for the real tall ones in there, and there's probably like 4 or 5, plus a roll of cork. Yeah, there's 4 rolls of vinyl and 1 cork, and if they're really long, so they don't fit in that thing. I mean, but anyway, fabric. I have got so much fabric, and I've got quilt kits that I bought and never made the quilts. I thought about selling some of the stuff, but they're like your kids. You can't get rid of them. I'm telling you. Okay. But I'm trying. I don't know. I just can't decide what to do with some of this fabric that I've had for years, because I keep thinking, well, I'm going to do something with it. I'm going to make something with it, and I have yet to do that. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your little strap thing. What's it called? Strap loop. I'm sorry. You're going to take your strap loop, take one of the holes, and place it right over top like this, where it's wrong side up. Match that hole. Put your rivet through. Well, there you go. Put your rivet through that hole. I'll show you here as soon as I get it through. I use the rivet holes that the rivets just barely go through, like the 2-point. I stay with the small side, the 2-point rivet hole, the number 2. I don't like to go any bigger, because one of the bags, a bag I made when I first started selling, true, Sharon, I wish I would. I mean, it's just ridiculous the amount of fabric I have, and I still keep buying it. I was at down the street, there's a church down the road that has, like, it's their peace makers club, and they have a nice little cute little quilt show every year, and then they have, like, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 vendors there. I bought a bunch more fabric there, and I'm like, why did I do that? I love it. I think I'm going to make another one of these, but I'm going to use the fabric, because in this, just real quick, in this piece here well, I don't know who, if Sammy made it or one of her team members made it. This is fabric, and this is vinyl. She states it in her description of what's on the cover, and I got this fabric that I bought, and it's a olive green. It's very pretty. I think I want to make one with that green and use that fabric, and instead of vinyl. So remember, wrong side out, up. When you place the first one, then you're going to flip it over, take it and go around and put your other one in. Now, of course, it's going to be a little tight space, because this is not, this is just a small little loop. I'm going to put my rivet through the loop first. That way, when I bring it around, I can just take it and just stick it in the hole, rather than trying to put it in the loop. Let me fix that. See, like that. And I'll show you here what it looks like. Make sure, of course, it's straight. Now, it's not quite straight yet, but see how you see the 2 rivets there? And then there's the back. There's a rivet sticking out. I think I'm going to need to put something behind those rivets, because those rivets are a little long. So let me grab some Peltex, although it's not needed for the strength, because again, I already have that I've got that nice little interfacing, but they stick out a little too far, and I need some Peltex to back it so my rivets don't go goofy. All right, I'll throw a little piece of Peltex back there. Let me trim that off a little bit. And then there it is. There we go. So I just stuck that again, because my rivets are so long. So what you want to do, of course, you want to straighten this up, make sure it looks nice and it's nice and straight, and then you're going to have to do the rivet press. I'm going to have to stand up and do my rivet press. It may be a little awkward to do this, because you've got that in the thing. Maybe now I'm going to have to stand up. Oh. Basically, I'm just trying to, I forgot to put my caps on. I'm like, why wasn't it sitting in the little thing? My goodness. I gotta stop trying to rush. I guess we'll get done what we get done in the 2 hours I have, right? All right. Just kind of just pulling the loop back just a tad bit once I get it, the rivet rested in the bottom, and just being really careful when I do this. Okay, there's one. Just making sure. That my things stay as straight as I can. If I need to straighten it, I think I should be able to straighten it. There we go. Well, that don't look bad. That's cute. So there's my rivets. So that's what you got to do. You got to do that for the second one. So we'll do that real fast. Get my rivet put through the hole. Put it, and then make sure you fold it over, right, wrong, remember, wrong side out. Get your second rivet, get it put through. Put it through the right way. You're putting the rivet wrong side from the wrong side. You're pushing, let me just tell you this because I started to do it wrong. Make sure you're putting the rivet post on through the wrong side first, and then when you fold it in like this, when you do the little loopy thing, you're folding it the right way so it's wrong side out. Make me a couple little see if I can do it in one piece. I think if I do it in one piece, it would be quicker. I don't know if these, yeah, they will stay. Trying to do this just one piece, and then that way, but I got to make sure they're lined up. Okay. Uh-oh, there went my hole punch. It's all right. Probably just got a million bazillion. All right. Let me put these on, and then we will get this finished up. Oh. Oof. Sorry for this up and down, up and down. And I don't have enough oomph behind me to do this from sitting down, especially when my cutting table's higher than my bench. Straighten that up a little bit. Oh, it's crooked. Oh, there we go. I think, I don't like that. This one is a little crooked. I think it's all right. There we go. Fixed it. There you go. Now, after you get your rivets on, I've got those on there. They're smooth edge. They're okay. I'm not worried about it. So after you put these on, again, this is for option B. You're going to do the two like this on this panel. Option A, you do one. You just do one. Option C, you don't do this at all. So maybe option C is a thumb lock, and your end. When you fold it over, you put your thumb lock on at the end. Not at the end of the building it, but at the after you fold this up is what I should say. Okay, so now you're going to take this piece and you're going to fold it up to here. Now you can put glue, double-sided tape. I think I usually do some like double-sided tape to fold this up. I'm going to use a little bit of glue. I'm not going to sew on the glue. I'm going to use, because you're going to top stitch this. And I'm going to, actually, you know what? I haven't got my camera. I need to get my camera down, guys. I'm so sorry. You should have told me that I don't have to put the camera down on my surface. I can tilt it and still see the comments enough to, you know, keep up with the comments. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue. It's a B700. I thought I was ordering The other glue, I can't remember what it was called, obviously, because I ordered the wrong stuff. But you're going to put some glue on the back at the top where, before the magnets, where my, stops. I'm just going to throw this glue on here. I am going to smear it a little bit because I don't usually use glue because I don't like glue lines on the fabric. But this is, again, this is a thick enough vinyl that I don't think the glue lines are going to show up. Ooh, this is powerful glue. I got it off Amazon, B7000. It's a multi-purpose adhesive. So it's supposed to be pretty good. So we'll see. All right. I have Q-tips. I was going to smear it with a Q-tip. There they are. Just so it's not a bunch of lines. So I'm just going to smear it around. And again, I'm staying within the folded edges. I am not putting this on the folded edges because we're going to top stitch the edge, but you want this to stick. That is why I'm using glue instead of double-sided tape, because you want this to not pucker in the middle because there's not going to be any stitching in the middle. Wow, that is strong glue, I'm not going to lie. Okay, I keep wanting to scroll the screen. This says a touch screen, but for some reason it's not let me do it on my laptop. Okay, so my glue's on the back and I'm going to fold it up to the top line there, because that bottom line was where you place your stabilizer interfacing, but we're going to fold now up to this top line. I probably should have put just a tad of glue right up there too. I'm sorry, let me put a little glue up here. All right. And this needs to be wiped off. I was using the one, I thought I bought little tiny bottles, because the bottle of glue that I kept using, oh my gosh, I had so many problems with it. It would continuously ooze out after I got done, because the tube was like aluminum, I guess you would say, and it kept oozing out. This is plastic tube, and it's got that little pointer thing. I can stick it down in there so it doesn't get all stuck up in this top of the thing. I don't know. We'll see if I like it or not. I just got it the other day, so I'm just now testing it. So we're matching this up to the line. I'm going to do it this way since the little strap things, the little strap loops are there. So I'm going to push this down, and I'm going to push it hard. My stabilizer's kind of a little bit in the way, but that's okay. Gonna give it a nice press. I'm going to go ahead and use my roller so this glue gets on this really good. And then once you do all of this, you're going to top stitch both along the sides, and you're going to just keep going down, over, and back up. So you will top stitch this end because we're not going to put anything on there. This is the finished end of your strap. Okay, you're not going to top stitch up here at all. You're going to go down, down, around, and back up. So let's go ahead and top stitch. I'm already at my top stitch length, which remember it is roughly, it's a little over, it's close to 5, not quite 5. So give me a second. We're going to back stitch here. Remember, top stitching is 1/8 of an inch. And if you have to manually, get that out of the way. Manually hand crank when you get to the bottom to keep your 1/8 of an inch, you can do that. Just when you get close to it, be careful. Just make sure you're, when you fold them over, your pieces stay even with each other, so you don't see like the back piece peeking out. Okay. Boom, boom. There we go. So that's part of our flap there. Okay, now we're moving to page 35. Let's see. So option A and B, you're going to take this piece here and you're going to fold it over. Fold back the XX flap panel and secure with double-sided tape, glue, or sewing clips. She didn't say if it's folding over, so I'm just going to fold it back like this. I'm going to do double-sided tape because I know I'm going to need that to stay still. For now, I don't have time for the glue to dry. The glue can dry on that centerpiece because of course we're not going to be doing anything else with it. So we've got the glue there, and I did it doesn't show up, so it looks good with the glue. You can't tell it's glued unless you smell unless you smell it. That's terrible. All right. Get this double-sided tape off. I just got it at the end here, and then you just fold it over. Just be careful and make sure it doesn't peek on the other side. Okay, so there is a spot on your pattern for the upper back piece, and I did not catch that. There's the bottom. Where's the top? Main panel. You give me a quick second. I need to find a back panel. Okay, so on the back panel top, there's positions. If you look really closely, you'll see flat position for A and B, flat positions for C. Since we're B, we're going to make a note mark on the back of our panel at that line. What I'm going to do so I can mark it, I'm going to grab my X-Acto knife. There it is. I am just going to take my X-Acto knife and cut that with my X-Acto knife. There we go. I'm just going slow because I'm holding it up in the air like this. And I think I need it. There we go. I don't want to go slow because I don't want to overcut it. And there's tape right there, so I'm just going slow. There we go. So all I did was just cut from the starting to the end. I'm going to grab my back panel. I'm going to lay this piece down. I'm going to line it up from the top centers of this panel. And this is the center right here where it's cut, where it's yes, taped together. But I'm going to go ahead and you guys, and pretend like it's a piece of material so I can be precise. There you go. But see, you can tell that's the center anyways. That's where I taped them together, but kind of a little OCD about that. Okay, so I'm laying it down on my panel. I'm going to hold it down. I am going to grab my silver pen and make a mark with the silver pen because I'm going to need to wipe this off because this is where you're going to see this. So I'm just taking the silver pen and making a mark through that slit. It didn't show up very well. I didn't do a good job with my silver pen. This side didn't get marked, so let's try that better. Okay. So there's where I marked it. I think it's so you can see that mark there. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your flap, center it up in the middle of that point there. Let me see, how big is that? I need to make sure I get the center. So that little line's only about an inch. So I'm going to make sure this gets in the center. So I'm going to make me a mark so it's centered good. Oh, lid's already off. Okay. Oh, these things, I don't know. These are different silver pens. And then you're going to place your flap right side up on the back of your panel with that line. I'm going to throw a little bit of tape on this, so when you sew it down, it doesn't shift or move. I'm having problems with this wanting to stay down, so give me a second here. Get some more tape and get this flap to stay down. I think I'm going to do a little roll on this little piece that we fold over, because there's some bulk there and it's not wanting to lay flat, and I feel like I need to lay it flat. So see, I'm just going to take this and roll it a little bit to encourage it to stay flat. My thread is peeking up a little bit. I'm going to singe my thread, all my threads, there we go, just so they don't peek up. So see how it's folded over like that? And then there you go. I trimmed these little corners because I didn't want them peeking out. That's up to you if you want to do that. Okay, so centers. Here's my center. I'm just going to use that line and guide it where I'm going to set this at. All right, so that's where that's going to go. Silly me, forgot to put double-sided tape down again. All right. So we're going to do this again. Again, right side up. Place it down like this on the back panel. Center it like that. Since I'm using the center line on the fold there, I just have to look at the center and move it down a little bit. So line it to that line like that, right at the line, and then stick it down. Now, so this line doesn't stick permanent to my piece, and I've already got this stuck down. I'm going to go ahead and wipe that line off. I don't want it to stay there permanently. So I'm just grabbing me a little water wipe. These are the wipes Keziah recommends from on her channel when she does her little wipes off her silver markings. That's what I have. And they're just got them off Amazon. They're water wipes. Make sure these are 99.9% water. Be careful what you use on your vinyl. Chemicals, soap, things of that nature can mess up your vinyl. I have had that happen. I used an alcohol pad on one, and it started to remove the color of my vinyl. So don't use alcohol. Use water wipes, but of course test. I mean, my recommendation, I got it, but you always want to test anyways, no matter what. Okay, we're going to sew this down at the measurements she gives you. So just be careful when you start your piece. You're on the piece itself, not before it or after it. Well, if you know what I mean. I'm starting like right at that. I'm going to hold my threads because I'm going to pull my threads through and tie them off. So I'm going to put my needle down and sew this down at this measurement she gives you. Ooh, this laptop takes up too much space. Okay, I'm going to stop at the end. I'll show you what I got here. Cut your threads off long because, again, we're going to tie them off. So there's that. So let me do the threads. Tying off, I'll just kind of do as I do them. I'll talk about it. You basically just take your back thread, give it a little tiny tug, and then you'll see a loop pop up. Then just grab like a pen or anything like that. Pen, needle, pull your loop through, tie it off. I tie them off about 3 or 4. I'm going to do 4 on this one. Keep your threads a little long so there's not a okay, stick pin. Ugh. I have a lot of things are falls down in my little oil tray down here. I've got stick pins. I've got pieces of fabric. There's numerous pieces of thread down in there. But anyway, the stick pin I just had just disappeared. Let me pull this thread through. All I keep grabbing is pieces of it. There we go. I need to get the whole thread, not just a sliver of it. All right. And me, especially since this is going to be something that's going to be used a lot. You're going to open and close it, and it's going to probably sometimes dangle off the back depending on, you know, how you carry the bag. I am going to I'm going to put a dab of glue on each knot. Make sure, I keep looking at the phone, just making sure I'm not missing comments, because if I miss a comment, I should say I don't want to miss comments. Put that back on, because I just, like I say, throw a little bit of glue on there. Grab my tape. Where is my big tape? I'm looking for my big tape. There it is. I'm going to grab my big tape. This is just 1-inch tape I got off of Amazon. Not the good stuff from Wawak. And I'm just going to throw a piece of tape over top of it. I know this is not going to be sewn any further there. So that's just me to secure that knot. Okay. Now, once you get that done, let me scroll down my pattern real quick. And then what you're going to do after you place this on, hold on. I think I put the wrong one on first. Oh no. Guys, I didn't pay a bit of attention. You got to put this on first. Can you believe I just did that? Oh. How does that work? How does that work? Let me look at the picture. How am I supposed to teach you something when I do it wrong, right? No, that can't be right. Because this is the piece that goes over on the flap. This goes through that. Like that. But I think I know why you do this first. Okay. Don't do as I say. No, I'm just joking. My seam ripper has disappeared. It disappeared the other day. Probably in my floor. So what I'm going to do, all that hard work I just did, I'm going to undo, because that's what I do. I undo. See if I can save this. Let me snip off my knots. I should be able to get this off easy. And I'm just going to pull my threads out like this, since I don't have a seam ripper. There we go. That's easy. And I'm not worried about the holes in the vinyl. Number one, I don't think it'll show up. And number two, this will get put right back where it was at. I just have to put this first, because I see, when I look at the picture, I see why she has you do that first. Sorry guys, I was telling you the wrong things. Hopefully you learn. When you get to that point, you think, oh no, Toni messed up. This is where this is what I don't want to do, right? It's not like pre-recorded and I can edit it out. I'll leave it. Toodaloo-doo. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm gonna get this off. This should be easy to come off. Once I get there, that was easy. All right, I'm gonna leave the tape. The tape came off with it that was holding this piece on. I'm leaving that on for that other little piece. All right, so let's put this back. Again, that stays folded because this will be exposed on your piece, this back, so that does need finished. But see how this piece has that little piece there? This is gonna get hidden under the piece that I just removed. That's why we do this first, this piece first. So make sure I put it the right way. So we're going to take this piece, put it this side up where you can see the, where this piece is lower than the top piece. This is what you want to put right side up when you sew this on. Like you're going to put it like this, centered on that line that we drew, that I wiped off. That was nice of me. Guys, I'm really sorry. What time is it? It's 2:23. Oh, no. It is already... Okay, I still have an hour. Let's get through this, and then I will... Okay. Making sure I'm back. Let me just kind of double check it. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to place this here. Again, let me throw a little sliver of double-sided because I'm actually putting it right at the line, and the double-sided tape that was there before is like above the line. Okay, so we're going like this. Get my center back again. Where's my ruler? I'll just do it like this to make sure it's centered. This needs to go over just a hair. There we go. So I'm putting it at the line. Again, remember, it is where the folded part stops. You're sewing it this way onto the bag on that line. And then you're going at the seam allowance that she gives. So let's get this on here. I'm still pulling the threads and tying them off. Well, actually, this will be hidden. We won't need to tie these threads off. So we can back stitch on here. Well, it's a double stitch, but we'll be able to back stitch. Remember though that you got to stay within that strap. Do not go off the strap because of course it'll be visible. Okay. Alrighty. So I back stitched. I didn't need to pull my threads on that one. So there you go, like that. Now, grab your big piece. Take that and put it over top of this, like that. And you're gonna lay this over top of that piece. Let's make sure we are doing it correctly. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to read real fast if you don't mind. Attach the flap over the mark you've made in the previous step. Place the flap right side up, center. Well, use double-sided tape and then top, whoops, I went too far. I'm sorry guys, I'm being quiet. Top stitch along the flap, blah de blah, and then top stitch along the top of the flap, blah de blah. 3, okay, so you're gonna do 2 stitches. So you're gonna place it on the line, center it up, place it right over top of this right here. You're gonna place it right here along this, line it up. Make sure it's centered. I'm going to throw some tape here. And you're going to do it. I'm making sure I've got it. It says place the flap right side up. I'm going to place it with the thumb because this is going to go like this. You're going to fold it over like that. I'm not sure what she means by right side up. For some reason that's confusing me. But I get confused easily. Hi everyone who has joined recently. I appreciate your time. I really do. I know I just posted that I was going to finish it up this morning. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I really kind of want to get the bag finished. So I thought I'd try to do as much as we can today. And then most likely this won't get finished up. Well, tomorrow night was my hair. I have a hair appointment. I got to get my hair trimmed tomorrow. So it won't be tomorrow. When I get off work, I got to go do that. And my niece does it, and her shop is 30 minutes from my house. So yes, I don't go anywhere all week unless I have to do. When I do go somewhere, except the grocery store, I tend to go far. So you're going to take this over that flap, give this a measurement that she gives you. You may hear that puppy in the background. She may be cute, but this dog, she gets into everything. All right. I hope I did this right. Let's see. Can't get this to, there we go. So this is what I'm thinking. You got to take that and that. That's going to go like that over the bag. That should be right. That's the way it's supposed to be. But you got to put one more stitch in there. So when you put this initial stitch in that she gives you, you go and do another one. And I need to make sure I do it right because I don't have my line. So let me measure with my ruler where I need to put this next stitch. And basically what it should do is it should go over that gap. Because remember when we placed that blue strip down, there was a gap. So I'm going to place that there. Make sure I'm within my line here. And since this is not going to be shown, I can back stitch it. Okay. You're not going to see this part. That part will be covered when you flip the strap over. It is going to be riveted. You're going to still rivet this strap on. So we spent way too long on this strap. All right, so we're going to take all this, fold this over like that, and then you're going to rivet each side of the strap like that. So I'm going to go in and let's see what okay. So we're going to install the rivets. I'm going to go ahead and feed this through here. Oh, that looks pretty. And mark my placement for my rivets. So I've got my rivet placement on my strap. You can see there's two little spots. I'm going to punch the strap first, then I'll punch through the bag. It'll be easier to do it that way. I just kind of got to work into that little tight spot, but I can do it. Oh, I just smeared my thing. Just make sure I got light so I can see where I'm punching the hole. Okay. Like that. And then I'm going to mark my bag. I'm going to fold it down and mark the bag where the next hole should go. That way there's not so many layers that I'm trying to punch a hole through, and the placement is accurate. I need to wipe off this. I smeared one of my little markings, so I don't want that to be noticeable. This one, no, they don't look straight, do they? Make sure make sure this is straight before I punch the holes in the bag here. That should be straight right there. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. Somehow I got the hole a little too low. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and punch this hole. I'm going to have to roll this up a little bit. I have one of those, they call them Japanese hole punches. I have one, but if I can use this thing, I'd rather use this thing. I mean, I'll literally fight with it. I'll literally fight with this thing to use it. All right. Make sure when you punch your holes in this part, you don't punch into your threads. Probably, you know, it's one of those things that it's obvious, probably obvious to not to watch out for, but I still feel like it should be mentioned just in case. There are new bag makers out there. They might be watching. So make a couple rivets, couple that. Let's get this riveted, and then we get, are we gonna ever get to the sides? The gussets, I think. Hopefully the gussets are next. Yes. Woohoo! I'm gonna try to go fast on the gussets. I mean, if it was just me sewing, and oh, I can't get my, I'd have it, of course, a little quicker because I dropped one of my rivets. So I now have a rivet post and a rivet I don't know, on the floor. Me and my rivets. But I want them longer ones because this is thick right through here. All right, let's get this post. I'm putting through there first because it's easier to thread it through the other one. There we go. Definitely do not need any kind of interfacing on this. Like I said, the other way I did it, a reason why I did the interfacing was to support the posts since they were so long. I think I made mine a little tighter than I should have, but there we go. So I got my rivets through. I'll go ahead and get them set, and then we're going to move on to the gusset. Let me see if I can do this sitting down. Probably not, but we're going to try anyway. I just can't get the force behind it. That's called being lazy, right? I do see a thread that I need to address real fast with the lighter. There's a thread that wants to peek out, so we're gonna give it a blast. Just be careful with your vinyl. There we go. There you go. And there's the part of your flap that goes over the front of your panel. I think that blue looks great. It looks great. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Guys, we're going to the gussets. All right. So we are going to take, now you can put an end strap on here. I will, but I'm gonna do it at the end. But you can get an end strap and stick it on the end here. But you know what? I like the looks of it. It's a finished edge. You can strap it, like I say, you can put that little thing on there and give it a little bit more. But I kind of like the way that is. It's a nice finished rounded edge. I like it. I don't think I'm gonna do it. I mean, I have one and I can do it, but I kind of like how the end looks. The only thing is I wish I would have top stitched the very end. I can still do it. I would just have to Hide my threads. Gotta pretend. We have a pretend look. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Gusset time, Toni. Stop wasting time. Okay. Here is my bottom gusset. I need to turn the heat press on, because once we get these pieces together, then we will put the gusset stabilizer on. Because the gusset stabilizer is after you attach the top to the middle piece. So, and I moved my heat press last night because I'm goofy that way. Let me go turn that on real fast so it can heat up while we're sewing this. Sorry guys, I'll be right back. I've got pattern pieces all over the floor. They keep falling out of my bucket. And, okay. So I was just looking to see if anybody was still here. Oh, it's starting to get, all right. This has drop down lines. Since this is the top part of your bucket, top part of your gusset, this will get folded down just like your top of your main part of your bag, because this is going to be, since it's a drop down, so make sure you mark your drop down lines before you start sewing everything together, because it's easier to do it that way. So she gives you the lines and then you do it. I started to mess up. You can see them little marks there. So there's the actual drop down line there at the bottom. So you're basically going to take your top part of your gusset, the middle part of your gusset, stitch them together, and seam allowance. Okay, checking the seam allowance. And then now, before you do the gusset, she does give you the piping. To do the piping on the bag before you do the gusset, because of course you got to have your piping on the bag before you attach the gusset. Honestly, I don't know that we're going to have time to show you the piping today. So I'm going to move on to the gusset so we can do the gusset. If we get time to do the piping on the front part of the bag, I'll show you. If not, then we'll do that the next step. However, the back part, the second part of the piping, I will not. I'll just show you the one part of it. All right. So top stitch, and then turn the seam allowance toward the top. So once you sew these two pieces together, your seam allowance is going to go up towards the top of the bag. So go ahead and do that top stitch, and then you're going to do that to the other side. There we go. Maybe we will get to the piping, because putting this gusset together won't take long. There we go. Just so there's the top of the middle gusset. I'll do the exact same thing on the other piece. Okay. Again, top stitch. And the way she has you do the gusset is kind of neat. It should line up with your accent pieces on the front of your bag, the top and bottom. Okay. Thank you for coming, whoever has been here. I appreciate it, and the ones that are staying with me, I appreciate that as well. If you can give me a like, I'd appreciate that as well. That'll help my video get out. So anyway, So there's that. Oh, thank you. All right, now you're going to attach, let me put these pieces aside. You're going to attach your stabilizer now to your top and middle pieces. Make sure, of course, you stay out of the seam allowances. Whoops. So I haven't heard it go off yet. So I'm not gonna, I'm gonna wait a second because it's obvious, it's not up to temp. It hasn't beeped yet. Tell me it's up to temp. So you're gonna take this and you're gonna attach, see how it takes the full piece there? You're gonna attach that there. Now I'm gonna grab the bottom part of my gusset. I'm going to show you what I did. So this bottom part of your gusset, get this out of the way, get all these pieces out of the way. The bottom part of your gusset is one huge piece, but it goes slightly up the sides. So you will have, this is, you know, the actual flat of your bottom of your bag, but you'll have some that will go up to the sides to match your accent. I've got my Decoville light to put on there as they instructed. However, I like a firm, stiff bottom on a bag where when you sit it down, it sits. So I cut out a piece of Peltex. I just guesstimated on the length of it. I mean, I've got it out of my seam allowances that I've already, you know, accounted for, and it has the curve that the gusset has. And I'm going to put this down and figure out when I look, I'm gonna like measure it to the bag like this. I think I actually did a good figuring out because it may go up just a tad bit, but I think it'll be fine because when I hold the bag to it, that part of the gusset, the extra Peltex that I cut out, stays within, I'm gonna hold this together. It stays within the bag dimensions, but it's still gonna give me a bottom base, an extra base. Now I'm gonna tell you what I cut this at, since this is something extra I did. I cut this at 3.5 inches by 13 inches long. Again, I cut the piece, then I put my pattern piece over it. And then, but anyways, I put the pattern piece over it. There is a separate pattern piece for stabilizer. But I put my pattern piece over it, centered it, and then trimmed out this to get the shape to go with the gusset that we have. Okay? That's what I did. I just wanted to put my bag together before I put my stabilizer on my bottom gusset because I wanted to make sure that this was long enough. Or, you know, if I needed to trim it down to size. So I'm going to get this out of the way. I still don't hear that it is set. So what I'm going to do, because I can't move on until the stabilizer's on, I'm going to put this all together. I'm going to go ahead and do piping. Because once we do, because we can't attach it until we get the piping done, I'm going to go ahead and get the piping on the front of the bag. There's only one piece of, there it is. So there's all my stabilizers together. So I'm going to put that on when the heat press gets ready. We're going to get our piping on. I'm going to do it on the front of the bag. Let's get this back of the bag out of the way. I hear it's about ready to go, but we're going to go ahead and get this piping done. So I'm going to grab my piping. Again, it's already ready. I mentioned in the first part how I did this. I do stick this out a little bit, but again, you're not going to sew, this part's not going to be visible. This is where it's going to start. So on your pattern piece, she gives you where to start and stop on the panel. So you're not going right at the top. You're going to start and stop. She gives you the markings, and there's my markings. What you're going to do is you're going to take your stabilizer or your piping, you're going to put it raw edges together, but you're going to kind of like go off a little bit, like this. See how it's kind of off? You're going to start your piping like that. You just have to work with it. Make sure you use a clip that's going to hold. And I'm going to put a mark on my actual piece of piping because once I match it up, it needs to go off a little bit. So I've got it marked there. And just make sure when you start sewing, because I've got it at a tilt right now, but when you start sewing, you're going to have to like move it. And I do put a little clip in it, into the piping to make it fold, I guess you could say. I'll show you when we get to it. I'll try to move the camera down a little closer, or my phone, I should say, not a camera. You're just going to take it and you're going to clip it down around the side of your bag, matching the raw edges together. Get that out of the way. When you get down to the curve of the bag, you just want to go in and put some small snips in. Just to help. It's just like you're doing a gusset. I started to call this a gusset. Just like you do a gusset, you're just going to put some small snips in that so it goes around that curve. Just kind of work it around. I don't have a stapler. You may, I mean, if you want to staple this to hold it on, you can. My stapler is just a plain old office type stapler. I keep wanting to get one of those ones that I've seen everybody use. Kasaya and Leslie from Jolie Lee. She's got one. It's a wall whack stapler, and it's really easy to use because mine's hard to use on this. I have to put the piece down and then staple it. But anyway, so you just take it and go around. This piping will be a little long. Keep in mind, if you use a domestic machine, I don't know that I would try piping with domestic, especially on this bag, because you've got this bulk. I'll show you here in just a second. You've got some serious bulk in the center of the front panel of this bag. And it may not, machine may not go over. I did not try piping, honestly, until a week ago. That's the first time I did piping. I did piping in a pillow. I made some pillows for my sister-in-law for Christmas. And I just bought some piping off of Amazon. Just fabric. It was just a fabric pillow. And I did that. But that's the extent of my piping. My mother-in-law, when she used to hand sew a bunch of pillows. I got a bunch of Christmas pillows that she would sew. That's what she did that all the time. She's been gone for 20 some years. But she would put that lace around her edge of her pillows. Every pillow she did was hand sewn. I got one that's got to be fixed, that I got to fix. I don't really use them because of the dog. Well, my other dog my daughter had. I never used it because I didn't want dog on it. And I'm afraid to wash them because, again, they were all hand sewn. And I'm afraid if I wash them, they'll come apart. My husband's grandma made us some when we got married. I still have them. But I did like a quick little hand wash. I took all the stuffing up, hand washed them, and then they're put away. I don't want them used at all. They weren't Christmas. They were just regular pillows with a ruffle, hand sewn. So, and my husband's grandma did that. All right, piping. Enough of that. Enough of history, right? So we're gonna take the piping. Oh, I want to try to see if I can get this closer. Let's try this one. So if I'm moving the camera, sorry if I get in the way. And I appreciate everybody that's still, that piece is not gonna tilt down. So let's do this. There we go. Now if I can get it to tighten back up. There we go. Uh-oh. There goes my phone. I won't be able to see nothing on that if it's that way. I think you should be able to see a little better. I'm sorry for the angles, but I hope this works. Get my laptop, move it a little bit. I don't think I need my laptop for piping. And it's 2:53, so we're gonna get the piping done, and then talk about the gusset. Okay, so again, I've got my marks. I'm gonna take my gusset piece and I'm gonna do this business to pull it off, But what I like to do, I don't know if anybody else does it, but when I do this pull off like that, I will snip the gusset just that little bit right below where, not gusset, piping. I will snip the piping just a little bit so when it'll lay down better. I'll just do a little triangle, and all that does is relax that piece of piping a little bit. When I fold it down, it relaxes it and it's not so puffy. But I'm gonna have to, but I'm gonna start on this side because I need to sew around this way. So I'm gonna do this to the other side. We'll do it again. I hope you can see this. I think you can. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna tilt it a little bit like that so it's off of the thing. And then where I see where the part where it gives you the little pucker there, that's where I'm gonna put the V at. I don't do this until I tilt my piece, so that way I know where to cut, because I don't want to cut into this any more than I have to. So we're going to start this. Now I sew mine on at 1/4 of an inch, because when I sew the pieces together, let me see what her seam allowance is around the bag itself, because that will make a difference. Because if you sew your piping on at 1/4 of an inch, and if your seam allowance for your bag is the same amount, then you're going to have some problems with your bag. So give me a second here. I'm just double checking my okay. I am going to do my piece. I'm going to sew my piping on at a little less than 1/4 of an inch. That will keep my thread from showing through when I sew my pieces together. If that makes sense. So again, I've got my piping tilted off where that line is. Let's see if I can show you. See how that line is there? I've got this starting. I've got that little angle right there. That is where my gusset starts. So it's going to come in at an angle like that. And then I put my little triangle snip right there, because that is where it bulged, and this will help it lay down when I get to it. Now, when I do this, I have a flathead screwdriver that sometimes I will hold my piping. I will backstitch too. And that, when it gets, if I can get it off the magnets, that'll help push it down. Again, I'm trying to stay a little less than 1/4 of an inch so I stay out of the final seam allowance of the bag. And you're just basting it on, so you don't need to go very tight with your stitch length, because this is just basting it on. Of course, when you get to the gusset or the rounded edges, go a little slow. If you need to use I use this flathead so it doesn't rip my vinyl, to hold it around there. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier about piping and domestic. It is difficult. If you've got a good domestic, no problem. But right here in the center, you've got what, 2, 3, 4 layers already, and then you're putting 2 more layers on, and then when you sew it together, that's another layer. That's a lot. So you just got to be careful. And since this has got to go up higher, I am going to put a little piece of vinyl behind. I don't have a hump jumper, so I'm just using my piece to keep my foot pedal up when I get to this part here. So it doesn't, it can sew through it easy. It just needs sometimes when it goes up a hill like that. And I want to know if anybody's here is a Kasaya fan. I'm going to tell you what, I watched her live yesterday. Well, I didn't get to watch it while it was live. I had to watch it when I got home from my mother's. Shout out to Mom. I don't know. I told Mom to watch my live today, but I doubt she will because she probably doesn't know how to do it. Anyway, my mother's birthday today. So Mom's 82. She'll probably kill me for me giving out her age, but I don't care. Happy birthday, Mom. Okay. So we got to the end. We're going to pull it off a little bit like we did. Line it up. My triangle has already been cut where it bunches up so it relaxes. If I need to, I'll grab my screwdriver, whoa, to hold that down just so it relaxes a little bit better and it doesn't fly off. And I do back stitch. Boom. The panel, if I can get it to pull, the panel is got its piping on like that. So there's your piping. And then I'm going to trim off this. Now I'm not going to go all the way to the edge. I'm just going to trim the worst of it off. I will clean that piping up there when I put the bag together, but I'm not going to take all of it off yet until the bag is put together. So there's that. Let me take my camera back up again. There we go. Nope, I'm lopsided now. Oh my gosh, I've got myself all kind of discombobulated here. There we go. Sorry for the facial expressions. I'm really bad about making facial expressions when I do something, when I'm concentrating. So there's the piping there. That'll be real pretty. All right, I'm gonna go get my gusset fused on real quick. And then, what time is it? It's 3 o'clock. So my gusset, I'm gonna put the gusset together, but we're not gonna put the actual bed. I'm gonna skip a step. Since we've got a couple of minutes, I'm gonna skip a step and we'll go ahead and do the zipper panel. That way, when we get to the lining, the zipper panel is already done. Again, we're skipping a step to do that, but we got a couple minutes and we can use it up and sew something. Even though we don't have time. You know what? I lied. Let me think. You know what? I can at least attach the gusset to the front part of the bag because we got the piping on the front part, right? We should have time to do that if I can get out. That would be, you know, I've got my stack of projects to work on here because that's how I work. I gotta have 3 or 4 bags cut at once. Don't ask me why. All right, give me a quick second. Talk amongst yourself. Talk about me. That's fine. Get this together, and we'll at least get the gusset sewn on the front part of the bag, and then I will do the second part of the piping. I'll just do that off camera, and then I will post when I finish this bag. It'll be Tuesday or Thursday night. I just got to figure it out because like I said, Monday night is my hair appointment. Tuesday I have to work a little later on Tuesday because I have to I have something Tuesday morning that I got to do. So I have to work late on Tuesday night to make up my time. And by the way, Jim, that thing for your face is Tuesday. Don't forget. All right, I'm getting there. Did you hear me, hon? Joe, your face thing is Tuesday. Your Mohs procedure is Tuesday.
I have no idea what you're saying.
Your Mohs, that thing to get that stuff off that thing off your face. That's Tuesday. Sorry guys, it's taking me an extra minute to do this. Trying to make sure everything's centered on my pieces. And I understand if you've got to go because I'm standing here doing this. I just couldn't fuse these on before I put the bag together, so gusset pieces are sewn to top and bottom gusset pieces. All right. Couple more seconds. Gusset is longer than my heat press, so I have to do it in 2 swipes. Okay. We're done with this. Turn that off. Okay. Hope somebody's still there. If you had to leave, I get it. All right. Sorry guys, I'm back. I apologize. It took longer than I expected. I had to do the gusset piece in 2 swipes, and that's not sticking very well. That's okay. We're okay. I'm gonna throw some double-sided tape underneath there just to hold it. I think I did the one side too quickly. I didn't hold it down long enough, but we'll just throw some tape under it. It'll still hold, right? I think it's because I got too many layers here, and I did it all at once rather than put on the Peltex and then putting on the Decoville. I don't know. If I can get this tape off, I'll just have it taped on instead of fused on. It'll still serve the same purpose. I appreciate you guys hanging there with me. I am having a double of a time trying to get this backing off this double-sided tape. I think I got it. Thank goodness gracious. All right. Yeah, I didn't do, this Peltex did not fuse very well. Not well at all. Make sure you have your centers marked on your bottom gusset. Gonna fold it this way. Because that's of course how you're gonna attach it. We are going to sew on these pieces. I probably should have sewn them on and then found my centers. I'll double check my centers after I get the top pieces on here. So you're gonna take this, so the top and middle, you're gonna sew it to one on each end of your bottom gusset. Again, after you get your stabilizer on. Don't forget that you don't put your stabilizer on your gusset until after you sew your top and middle. You can, of course, get your stabilizer on the bottom before, but I already explained to you why I didn't. So we will get this on, and of course at the seam allowance that she gives you, all right, and then you're going to top stitch. Make sure I think you top stitch with your seam allowance up on this. So let me just double check. Yeah, towards the seam allowance, toward the bottom. Okay, so on this one where at the top you took the seam allowance up, this one you're gonna point your seam allowance down on this part and then top stitch. Okay. So there's your, so how you got just that little piece. This should match up to your panel. When you sew your panel on, all of this should blend together. Let's see how well we did. I did forget to mention, when I got done sewing my front and my back panel, my front panel was slightly smaller than my back panel. So, and the reason I tell you this is because now the back panel is the one that should be accurate because you're cutting the full pieces, and what you're sewing is you're sewing them together like this versus you're sewing them horizontally versus vertically on your front and your back panel. So when you sew your front panel, because you're attaching these pieces together like this, because these are two separate pieces, this blue piece is not like applique on or top stitched on. It is a separate piece from this. Make sure your seam allowances are correct, because that does mess up the back panel. So I had to trim down the back panel a little bit so my pieces were equal. The only thing that concerns me when I do that is this gusset, because this gusset is made to match the correct size of the bag. And since I had to trim this down it was like 1/4 to 3/8 inch I had to cut off in order to match the bag, to match the back panel. Obviously I couldn't add to it. I had to trim it down. So my thing is, I think I should be okay, because I mean, yes, I had to trim that much off, but I'm hoping that it won't affect my gusset. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Jacqueline. I appreciate it. That's me. I keep it real, all right? I'll tell you if I messed up. I am, I have a bad habit of, just, well, talking too much is one thing, but, telling everybody a lot of things. Anyway, so there you go. Boom. My gusset is this. Make sure my centers are still there, since I sewn these on in case I messed up on my seam allowances. So let's see if it's still, yep, gusset is still, got my centers are correct. So let's go ahead real quick. We've got 3:11. We have 20 minutes to sew on the gusset to the front panel. I can do that. Let me throw some more, okay. Note to self, Peltex does not stick really well to this faux reel. I think it's not, I mean, I don't want to say, I think it's more the Peltex than anything. And the fact I probably didn't leave it under the heat press as long as I should have. I'm not gonna lie, I was rushing. But my Decoville sticked. Yeah, let's learn how to talk. My Decoville stuck very well. Let me get this in here. I'm gonna just throw this on here, guys. Ugh. I don't like that I have to do this, but we're gonna do it anyways. Maybe I'll keep this bag. Now I've thought about selling it. I will probably sell it. Bring it to my show in September, unless somebody else wants it before then. Okay, we're good to go. Let's get this. Let's get it done. Okay, my center's still marked. It's real faint to see, but my center's still marked. So let's get our gusset. I'm going to pull out the heavy duty clippies. Now these are not the alligator clips that everybody's using. I like them. They seem really, really neat. Problem is they're tiny, and there's no way. I shouldn't say no way. They were very hard for me. I mean, these are hard enough, and those little alligator clips are a little more narrow, so I have a very hard time. These are big enough for me to clamp. They are hard to clamp sometimes open, but they're good enough. They work, and they hold when you're doing this kind of part. You need something a little stronger than those clippies, especially when you're doing the binding. These things hold really well. They are big. They can get in the way, but they hold your piece. So I'm going to go ahead and make a couple clips on the bottom. We're going to start at the bottom center, clip it and hold it like that. Boom. I'm going to tilt my camera down just a smidgen. Appreciate you guys that are still with me. I really do appreciate it. I know I've said it 1,000 times already. All right. Then after you do that, of course, you're going to go up to the top, and then you're going to match that little point there to the top of your bag. And you see how you have that little flat edge? That's what you're going to match to the top. And see how you've got my piping out a little bit? I'm keeping that there until I get my gusset sewn on. Then I will trim down my piping. That's a personal preference. I think she has you trim it down beforehand, but I like to keep it out when I sew. It helps, I guess, guide me. I don't know. I just don't want to trim it too short, I guess. All right, so now we've got this part here. This is where you want to put a couple snips into your gusset. Of course, you do not want to interfere with your seam allowance, preferably like 1/8 of an inch snips. That, of course, helps relax that gusset so it'll spread around that little curve of your bag. Sometimes I put a few extra in there. I don't know why. My gusset does seem a little big, and I think it's because I had to trim my bag down a little bit. But we'll work with it. I will not let it be a saggy bottom. I think we can work with it. It's not so loose that I don't think I'll get a pucker. I'm gonna lay this down and do that this way. Oh, also, when you put your, I forgot to mention, when you put this on, you want to make sure, see how that lines up there? You want to make sure that lines up with that. That's what I was talking about with the gusset. It's not, when you cut your bottom gusset, it still goes up the side a little bit. So you want to make sure these lines match. I noticed that this top here doesn't match when I clipped it on. These one's higher than the other. And I also noticed that's why my gusset is a little baggy right through here. So I'm going to adjust this piece here a little bit to match my top. And it's going to go over, the top of it's going to go over just a little tiny bit, but you want to match that piece. That is what's more important. So let me do that. Let me clip that. Make sure we're matched good when I look into it. So you're just going to look into it. Make sure it's matching. I need to go up just a hair. See? Let me try to get it on the camera. Like that. Make sure it matches. Now, if you can see this goes over just a smidgen, that's okay. You can trim that off. Again, that's what's most important, that these points match and these points match. So let me check and make sure these guys still match down here. There's that. So I'm going to clip these trigger points real quick. And then I'm going to go finish going around it. Sorry about that. I should have mentioned that first. I wasn't thinking. I just was going straight to clip on the gusset. And I tell you what, doing that, my gusset fits better. I think that's why it was puckering. I was worried more about having to trim it down. And I just have at least a little bit at the top, like that. See, there's just that least little bit is off on my gusset. So that's all there. Let's do the other side. Let's match up my accents. Make sure they're lined up. I'm lining these first because you can see them, and then I'm clipping, but I'm also double checking to make sure it still lines up, because even though it looks like it when I clip it, one of the pieces inevitably shifts a little bit. So you just kind of want to double check it, even when you clip it, looking at that. This looks a little high. There we go. That matches up. Let's match this up. That matches up almost perfectly, doing it that way. So let me do a clip here. Make sure we're matched up. Nope, we need to go up. There we go. I'm just making sure everything looks good here. I think that'll be all right. And then finish clipping. I gotta trim my gusset. Flip my gusset. All right, we're gonna get this on, and then we're gonna end it right here. And then when we come back to finish off the bag, I'll have the other, I'll actually have the, oh, I'm sorry, Linda. It will be available once this gets done. I will upload it to, YouTube. It'll get uploaded to YouTube, so you will be able to watch the beginning of it. It does take a minute to upload. It should be uploaded by time I leave, because it's when I get done, it'll be a half an hour before I leave again. But you should be able to watch it. Hopefully you learned something, because I made a mistake again and I had to fix it. Anyway, so I got that on. So let's go ahead and get this sewn on, and then we'll do a sneak peek at it. I'll just flip it out and we can sneak peek at it. I do that all the time. I think I like to do that just to kind of see what it looks like. So let's go ahead and sew this on at the seam allowance she gives. I just got to line it up. My little piece is holding me back on my seam. There we go. I'm going to scoot these out just a tad bit, but I'm going to hang on to it. So make sure you back stitch at the top. So like I say, there's a lot of layers here, so be careful with piping. My piece is gusset slipping a little bit, so you just kind of got to work with it. I'm going to probably be quiet for a minute because I got to concentrate. Oh, I started to say earlier, if anybody's a fan of Kasaya, she's doing her first swag dash this weekend. And she's actually holding the swag dash at her home. She is, what do they call that? She's kind of, I watched, I did a live yesterday. Again, I missed it. I had to watch it in replay. I got a pucker, so I'm just working with my gusset here. But anyways, she, there we go. It looks like so much fun. She's coming to Ohio. I live in northern Kentucky. And where she's coming to is, I think it's only it's a 2-hour drive. I went to see her, I think it was last year when she was doing her sewing in the States. Oh crap, I'm getting a pucker, sorry guys. But anyways, it is so much fun when they do stuff. But anyways, what I was getting at, she used her home to do this, and I think, I mean, that to me, that just speaks volumes for her. Oh yeah, Sharon, watch it, because she could say, the ladies are there at the house sewing in her living room. They've got the living room cleared out. And hopefully tonight, I'm going to check YouTube tonight when I get home and see if they did another live today, because today they're sewing the Annabelle. I want to go, I need to go, well, I want to do the Saturday one. That's the Saturday one is the one I want. And the Saturdays, they're sewing the Susu sling, which I like the Susu sling. It's a really cute bag. But they're opening up the Ohio one on July 1st. So, you bet I'll be there. I'll be there ready. I'm getting a pucker. I just have to be careful with this pucker, because while I work it out, I don't want to mess up where my seams meet or my accent pieces meet. So I don't want, of course, a pucker, but I also got to keep my seams matching. There we go. And now my piece wants to go over a little bit. One thing I find with doing piping, your pieces, when you sew, because that bump in your piping, it makes my top of the top piece here, it tends to want to, doesn't want to line up real well sometimes. I have to watch it real close. And my gusset is off a little bit. Again, I can just trim it off the top rather than having my pieces not meet. So let's see how well we did. Let's see if I got it. It looks so far, looks fine. Let's see. And let's see if we've got any puckers. That can be blow dried out. That can be heated. Look at that. All righty. And I don't think, yeah, it's not, oh, that's, I need to fix, now see, I need to fix that. See that right there? You obviously don't want that, so I'll need to go back in and stitch over that spot there a little closer in. That's in the little corner, so that's easy to fix. It's probably just as I was going around it, it just, you know, you just kind of, sometimes you shift your seam allowance a little bit when you go around these pieces. So that's what you want to do. You kind of want to look around, make sure your pieces meet. This one goes down just a tad bit, but I don't think you can notice it very well. So let me step back a little bit. So that's the front of my bag, like that, boom. And you just want to make sure you match your pieces, but that's cute. Let's see. Oh yeah, I love Susan too. She's absolutely hilarious. She's hilarious. When I met her in Ohio last year, she just, I mean, she's like the life of the party. She's absolutely hilarious. Okay. And they're like, oh, thank you, Sharon. Yeah, I think it's really pretty. I wasn't sure if it would work doing something so light as the vinyl. I'm not sure, you know, I've actually used this on another bag, but I used a darker vinyl. I can't remember exactly which vinyl it was that I used, but it was a darker vinyl. I think it was, I don't remember. Isn't that terrible? But anyway, I wasn't sure how well it would go, especially adding blues in it. But see, since I have some blue flowers, I thought I'd throw that blue in there, and then I let's see what this looks like. But I like it. And then again, like I said, I got this flap. Where's my flap? We'll do this real fast and then we'll end it. Oh, if I can get it without tearing it up. So then we're gonna take this. Let's pretend, play pretend. Remember, this is gonna be folded down, but you're gonna have that over it like that. And then you're gonna have your handles, the strap connectors. You have your strap connectors and then your handle. And I'll show you, I was testing my strap connectors. I didn't put them on yet, but I was testing them. There they are. I'll show you real fast. What time is it? 3:26. Okay, we're good. We are good. So your strap connectors will go like that. That's a pretty accent, like that. That's so pretty. I like it. Yeah, I was worried about the blue on there and having the light pink, but I think it's real pretty. It's a real pretty bag. Again, I love Shamballa Bags. She's always got, she does piping, but she's always got, there's always like, what do I want to say? What words? Multiple exterior vinyls or fabrics. I mean, it's like exterior 1, 2, 3, and 4. I mean, look at all the different colors. And she's always, you know, got something going in her bags to make it interesting, which I really like. I made some Philippas, and it had a bottom trim piece. Now, I didn't put the piping on it because they were actually made for shows, so I didn't want to throw piping on there and make it more expensive than need be, because it was for craft shows. But I want to make a Philippa with piping. That I think will look really nice. You can check that one out. That's a really cute hobo style bag. It's really neat. I made mine with corduroy and vinyl at the bottom. I really liked them. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and end here, guys. I really appreciate everybody that stayed with me, everybody that joined. this, again, these are my first lives, and I like it. I mean, I do talk nonstop. I know I do. I talk to myself a lot too. So now I get to talk to a camera. And I hope you appreciate it. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk less to my husband and not drive him crazy as much. He can hear me. He's in the room right now and he hears me. So he's got to listen to me talk for the last hour. But I'm getting ready to leave, so you won't have to hear me for a while. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give me a like. I'd appreciate that. If you watch this afterwards, thank you so much. Again, I am going to post this. Once I get done, I will upload it, make sure it's uploaded to view after the fact. Join me for part 3. Again, it's going to either be Tuesday or Thursday evening to finish this bag. I would love to do it Tuesday night because, again, I like to get it done. That's the way, I mean, I basically just go and just get it done. But, you know, doing it live, I just need to make sure I have the time to sit down and spend a couple of hours doing this. So, thanks so much. Good night. Good day. And appreciate you all. Everyone, have a great evening. Bye.